Hello, boys and girls. Cheers. Just in time, cable tie. Like you cue it for the switch every time when you're around. Never fear, cable tie is here. How's everyone doing? We just had massive lightning thunderstorm here. Started about 20 to 5 this morning, and it was like full on, and the door was so, the garage door when I got here was so loud. I was up on the ladder trying to mute it. I thought the stream today was going to be lightning, thunderstorms, crazy door, no one be able to hear me not be able to concentrate, but it seems to have settled down. What was interesting was it was 27 degrees at the time outside at 20 to 5 in the morning with massive thunderstorm and lightning. It woke you up at the start? Yeah. So my kids are not fans of thunder, especially Flynn. So yeah, I was chatting with him this morning early, consoling him. I wasn't even sure I was going to make it into the office, the rate things were going. But anyway, it seems to have settled, which is good. Maybe a bad omen for today's stream, I don't know. But the dog instead of kid, yeah, dogs don't like thunder. So you might still hear the door rattling a bit, still a little bit windy outside, but it's just hot and muggy as well. So yeah, yay Melbourne for crazy weather. How is everyone? Is everyone well?
Red Magnus says this is the voice of world control.
World control? You mean the world falling apart? It's Mother Nature telling us to get our shit together, I think. Not so bad in Box Hill. It was pretty full on here. So when I was leaving my house, backing out the driveway, I kind of looked towards the ocean. We're not at the ocean, but like the ocean is that way. And like the lightning was just insane. And I thought, okay, it's on that side. And then as I'm driving down the road, so that would have been my right-hand side. It's happening on the right-hand side, and then it's flashing on the left-hand side, then flashing in front of me. I saw some, it's a pity I don't have a dash cam. There was a couple of lightning shots where you could clearly see the lightning bolt right in the middle. It was just crazy. Then I thought, this could be the day. The only car on the road right now, this could be the day that bang. But anyway, all good. I made it. Yeah, got a got a shocking headache. I just took some Panadol. Hopefully the headache will subside. I'm going to give KiCad 8 a try today. I have not used it before. I just loaded it. I tried installing it last night, but I just couldn't get it downloaded. But it's downloaded, it's installed. I have yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. I don't know anything about what's new in it. To be honest with you, I haven't been following along. A little bit at the start, but I haven't been following along, so it'll be as much of a surprise for me as anyone else, and hopefully I won't fumble my way through. But I have some exciting news to share first. I meant to announce this and I forgot, and I don't know why I forgot, so I'm announcing it now. well, it's kind of exciting. No, maybe not so exciting, maybe just whatever. So my TinyWatch S3, I finally released the hardware files for the current shipping version. Did I leave my email open? I must have left my email open. Okay, I'll close that in a moment. So for KiCad 7.0.10, there are schematic and PCB in project. There's some 3D models in here for anything that's custom that I've put together. And of course there's an updated schematic. And there's an IBOM export as well. For those that don't use KiCad but want to have a look at the board through IBOM. So the hardware is out. The delay was really just me finding time, making sure that I had the schematic and the PCB the same. What I tend to do on my own projects anyway is I'll put stuff together in the schematic, I'll then put it together in the PCB, lay it all out, and then sometimes I'll tweak some values on the PCB side, but never go back and tweak them on the schematic side, or I'll modify the footprint. I'll change the footprint on the PCB side, but not update the footprint on the schematic side. So I just needed to make sure that they were both correct, and I had to go through every single part and check everything, check the footprint, check the values, check everything else. And there were a couple of discrepancies I found, so I updated those on the schematic, republished the PDF, and then published the KiCad files. So they're there, which is pretty cool. Can 7 and 8 run together on the same PC? On a PC, I don't know. On the Mac, you can technically have them both have them both loaded. You have to just be careful. Once you've loaded a project in 8, you can't load it again in 7. Sorry, once you've saved a project in 8, you can't load it again in 7. KiCad is generally never backwards compatible. It's always forwards compatible, but never backwards compatible. So I don't advise running 2 versions of KiCad. I'm sure you can do it, I just don't know how to do it on a PC. Like on a Mac, I just have KiCad in 2 different folders, named differently. And then I can actually have them both loaded at the same time. But because they talk to a different set of settings files and everything else. So when we start up KiCad 8, just like with 7 or whatever else, it'll come up saying, do you want to copy over your footprint things? Do you want to copy over your schematics? Do you want to copy over your settings from 7 or whatever? So on the Mac, it doesn't install to a different folder. Because on a Mac, you copy the folder over to your applications folder. So you need to rename that folder before you copy it, or you need to rename the KiCad folder before you copy the new one, or you'll stomp it. By PC, you mean Windows. Sorry, yes. I don't know what it will, even on Linux, I guess. Yes, PC stands for personal computer. Dishipu, thank you for the correction. So, like for me, I've got, hang on, I can probably show you, no. So I've got a KiCad folder, which is my normal install, which happens to be 7. And I've got a KiCad 8 RC2, which I did this morning, see at 554. And I've got still a 705, which was my daily driver. I didn't move to 7.7 or anything else. There was just 7.5 was stable for me. But what I'll generally do is when I move to 710, I'll keep 7.5 around for a while until I'm 100% sure. And within the 7 range, I can open a file in 7.10 and then open it again in 7.5. I just can't do it. Once I open something in 8, I can't load it again in 7. So that's how I do it, just different folders. I don't know how it works on Windows. I'm assuming on Linux it would be the same. What? Steve, STG Electronics, watching while finally getting around to rigging up my Rooflow Master Pro. No more dropping PCBs after using a hot plate. Oh, I did that the other day. I dropped a board. All the parts bounced off. Lost the whole thing. I don't do that often, but I do it sometimes. Like I've done it a couple of times actually. So When did you buy a Reflow Master Pro? Wow, I don't even know what everyone's names are. Like, I get orders from people, I assume people that I might chat with, and I don't even know. Like, I might ship something out to them and have no idea who they are. I guess that's the problem with I mean, obviously a lot of people use their names in chat or in Discord though I don't know who half the people are. Anyway, cool. I didn't know you got one. So I actually pushed a firmware update out this morning. It's only minor. You don't need to update. There's only one small change in it. You've only done it 3 times. Yeah, I've done it. Generally, I do it like I'll take the board off the hot plate and I'll go to move and I knock my arm on something. So I'm carrying it over, being really careful, and I forget that there's something to the side of me and I go bang and the parts go poof, or I drop it on the floor. Oh, it's so infuriating when that happens. Okay, I should say hi to everyone in chat. Let me just go back to this view. Anyway, so for those interested in looking at TinyWatch, the board files, they're there. Just reminding everyone what the license is. You're free to use the files however you want, as long as you keep them open source and republish them as open source. It's the CERN Open Hardware License version 1.2. The newer versions of the license do not require you to reopen source, but that's not the version I'm using. I'm using version 1.2. Version 1.2. So you must, whatever you do with the files, derivative work or whatever else, you must also keep it open source. Yeah, I know about KiCanvas. Actually, I've looked at it a few times. Thea does KiCanvas, I believe. There's quite a few things that are really cool. Well, that's why I put iBomb. Cable ties are awesome. That's why yeah. Only duct tape is what? Okay, I'm gonna go say hi to folks in the chat. Yeah, let's get that done. Antonio, good morning. Mr. England, hello. How am I meant to go to here? Alan Metzen, hello, good morning. Johnny, Moo, Dapor Jones. Now, you know what I've got in my head now? Gimme a man after midnight. Now I've got ABBA in my head. Thanks, Dapor Jones. Jeremy Wilkinson, hello. Michael, Moo. Finally convinced Michael to watch Halt and Catch Fire. I've only been telling him for a year, and he's finally watching it and enjoying it. Christian, hello. Beata, howdy hi. Rat Madness, hello. It's a Wednesday. David Esser, hello. Shipu, John Clayton, hello. Newly retired. What do you mean newly? Didn't you retire? You were retired last year, weren't you? Or is this new? What? John, I thought you were already retired. Rota, hello. Cable Tie, good morning. Scrolling. Andy Day, hello. Loki, hello. Oh, lost it. It scrolled. You retired 4th of the 1st. Wow. So, yes. Freshly, newly retired. Congratulations. That's awesome. Wish I could retire. I'll never retire. JF, hello. I'm going backwards now. Dave Hertz. Hi. Richard. Good morning, Richard. You're up early. And yeah, Steve, SDG Electronics. Hello. Mad Techie. Hi. Peter. Good morning. Have I missed anyone? I don't know. Oh well. Scrollies. I think I'd be bored out of my brains if I was retired. Yumbo Prime, hi. Yumbo was taking a shower. Good to know you came to the stream clean. I should shut my email down so it stops going beep. Quit by email. Okay. So, also just another update, my Conveyor controller, which some of you might have seen the video I posted. I've got it working with Sam. It's one way with Sam at the moment. I still have to implement the other direction. And the other direction is important because I want feedback from Sam. And my crazy idea of using a camera on the controller board to detect if there's a panel or not actually seems to be a valid working idea. Amazing. So Michael has been working on the camera stuff. I bought, I think I mentioned in my last stream, that was 2 weeks ago now, I bought a couple of these SPI cameras. They're the RGCam cameras. They're just like a normal RGCam. This one is the 5 megapixel version with autofocus. And I also got the 3 megapixel version that doesn't have autofocus. And so they just run off an SPI bus. And they're not super fast. They only run at about 6 megahertz, I believe. But they're pretty good. And so Michael was here last Friday, and we were working out a plan for stuff, and we were experimenting downstairs. Took a whole bunch of photos with the camera, and he's been playing around with doing things like taking baseline photos and then taking photos, doing manipulation passes on the images, doing equalization, like histogram equalizations, and pulling all the saturation data out and only using saturation for comparison. And he's got a system working pretty well that can detect if there is something on the panel or not. And that's pretty amazing. And that's all running off an ESP32S3 via SPI. And my controller board has, although I guessed that the connector for the camera was going to be a 2mm pitch connector, and in fact it is a 2.54, which really sucks. So I thought I was going to have the correct, but I don't, so I'm going to have to make a custom cable. But other than that, yeah. So I need Sam to be able to, you know, when I say, hey Sam, move the conveyor, I need Sam to have a look at the conveyor and make sure there's nothing on it first. And if there is something on it, to let me know, hey Sam, I can't do that. I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that. And let me know why. It can say, hey, conveyor 2 has got a panel on it, and I can go and clear the panel. So it's getting fairly close. It's pretty cool. Sam is a robot. Yes, Sam is. Nothing much posted yet. A couple of details. What? Oh, John's starting a... Wait, what have I missed? You're starting a channel? You're going to be posting videos? Cool. Careful, it can be addictive. Hey Ian, how you doing? I hope you're well. Okay, so that's that out the way. I've only made the one board.
Says, greetings, mortals.
Hey, Quixotic Geek. Welcome. So that's working pretty well. I've made a case for it. Those of you might have noticed that there was a half a case that was sitting in. I worked out how I'm going to mount it underneath. That is all working. I have to still get a cover for it, or make a cover for it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Someday AI will free mankind from dull repetitive jobs like brain surgery. Yes, absolutely. And making Xeon coffee. So I've actually been playing a lot recently with local LLMs, running local LLMs on my Mac and also on a Raspberry Pi. It's pretty cool. I am quite shocked at what's possible, you know, chat GPT style conversational stuff. I played a little bit with Mistral X. I've been playing with a few things. Yeah, LLM equals large language model. And that's basically what chat GPT and all the other derivatives, Google's, I can't even remember what they're all called now. That's basically what it is. It's a large language model that, you know, runs off clusters and clusters and clusters of servers and stuff. There's been a huge movement, like community based. A lot of it's open source, most of it's open source, to get that type of stuff running. Believe it or not, even down on your iPhone, on an iPad, like on a phone, you can get, a chat GPT. I'm not talking about an app that talks to the internet. I'm talking about fully local. So I've got an LLM set up on here, on my Mac, that is completely not on the internet. It does not go to the internet at all. Everything about it happens locally. Sam could be in big trouble if Sam becomes, there's no chance it's going self-aware, but yeah. Internet in your pocket for real. Well, yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing, I have to say. I was kind of blown away. My first attempts didn't work so well. I actually posted on Twitter. It was, I started, so my plan was to see if I could rebuild Sam as an LLM chatbot style thing, which is a much harder thing to do than what I thought. I've spent a lot of time looking at it. I am 100% zero expert when it comes to anything to do with machine learning, deep learning. Shouldn't call it AI because that's just the worst term for all of it, but all that type of stuff, I know nothing about it. So they've worked out how to. So it's not like for instance, if you compared the breadth of ChatGPT versus what you can fit on your phone, they're quite smaller. Machine learning, but they're still they've worked out how to quantize the data to encode it into much smaller file formats that you might only get a smaller subset, but the subset is still massive. Like it's amazing. It really is amazing. It's such a rabbit hole, and there are way more projects out there that I could even have imagined. Like I thought there might be like 2 or 3 groups of people working on it. It's the momentum that they're getting for this stuff is just, it's insane. And some of the tools are really amazing. Hey Mike, that is cool, but shouldn't be surprising. The effort is in the training, needing lots of computer power, but after lightweight algorithm. Sure, but it's a matter of how much data, right? And then the problem of doing local is how do you make it keep learning? I heard it takes like a gaming computer to run the image generation one. Yeah, it's so obviously there are a lot of tools specific to the Mac and Apple Silicon that are really pushing ahead. So like they're either you need really dedicated PC Windows hardware, like really high-end RTX graphics cards to be able to do stuff, and you don't have those options on the Mac, right? And so, but on the Mac you've got Apple Silicon with stacks of neural networks. Like even Apple have got it, or the Apple machine learning team have released a framework, an open framework as well, that lets you do a lot of stuff. It's just amazing. But the thing that I'm trying to work out how to do, and which is not so easy, is have a local LLM interact with databases and documents. And so documents is something that's been done quite a lot. You can like give a folder of documents like PDFs and all sorts of stuff, and you can train your local data on those documents, and then you can actually ask questions and they'll reference those documents, which is pretty amazing. But doing that with an SQL database, for instance, all of the examples out there, all the people that are showing all that type of stuff, everything's still based around the OpenAI model, and that requires creating an account with the OpenAI consortium, which doesn't cost anything, and getting an API key, and it still requires connecting to the internet to be able to do some stuff. And although there are tools, there's Llama Index and there's LangChain, that apparently you can set them up to do local only SQL. I'm not talking about hey, how do you write an SQL query? I'm talking about actually querying a database. But I couldn't get it working. I spent days and I couldn't get it working. Lab chain or Lang chain? You're talking about, I don't know what lab chain is. They're starting to add MCP, maths coprocessors, to new PCs. No, it's not maths coprocessors, but yeah, there were. So one of the big things at CES was, sorry, this is just derailed completely, but it's super interesting. AI coprocessors. They call them AI coprocessors. They're just edge related. They're just chips that have got, you know, fast neurally net type processing power, basically little GPU things in boards that you can plug into your computer. TPU, well, there's all sorts of types, right? TPU, I think they're called NPUs. They're called all sorts of things, right? Everyone calls them AI processors, and those things they're interesting because they give you know, you could take a computer that doesn't have a super fast RTX graphics card with hundreds of CUDA cores and still do some really cool processing, neural net processing. Like the USB Coral thing that you can get for the Raspberry Pi is an example of something like that. It's been around for a while, not that you can get one. I was really motivated in learning machine learning at a programming level, but then ChatGPT came out and I sort of lost the will. Training ones on local data would be cool. Well, it's the training part that I can't get working properly. Whenever I take a model and I try to train it with some extra thing, it completely breaks the model and the model becomes useless. Like I actually, let me see if I can find my post. It was pretty funny. Let's go to Twitter. I posted it on Twitter. I will get back to actual PCB stuff in a moment. I promise. But this is cool. This is kind of relevant to everything I'm doing. So I had this thing where, like, this was literally a large language model running off my computer, but this was my very first attempt. And you just see here, like, it was dumb. Got stuck in. So this is after I broke it by trying to train it on extra data. So I'm not trying to do RAG. So RAG is where you can augment an existing model with some stuff on the side. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to actually properly have it retrain. Yeah, RAG is a different thing. RAG is much harder to set up. It's honestly, it's a complete rabbit hole, and I haven't even hit the 1% mark yet on my knowledge or understanding of it. But it's pretty cool. So I did progress much further than this, and I got it talking to a SQL database, but it could, like, I could see that it could query it, and I saw the queries that it was doing, but it could not pull out the data that I asked for. No matter what it did, it just couldn't do it. Like, I could see it find the data in a table, and then the response back was not the data. It was just doing my head in. But still, it was pretty cool. It was. So my plan. So why is this relevant? Well, with Sam, right now with Sam's hard coded. Like, Sam's just written in Python. It's the only thing Sam can do are the things I program it to do. It's in no way is it a a form of artificial intelligence, right? It's just any functionality I want Sam to do, like the moving of conveyors and all that type of stuff. I have to, you know, write code so Sam can detect if I've said certain keywords and then process those keywords to work out what, I've written like a mini inference engine, but it's very specific to the stuff I want, right? And then, you know, Sam will then have a function that he calls, that the code will call to perform a task. I thought it'd be really cool if I could get all that working, but from so I don't know what you call it. I mean, they're calling them chatbots, whatever. It'd be funny if Sam was actually a chatbot, a local chatbot, but so I tried training this model on the SQL database Sam uses, which tracks, you know, my reels and what's on each reel and my stock, how many stock items I have, in stock, and all those type of things. But it just I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it working. So anyway, it's pretty exciting. I don't know how much time I'm really going to get to spend on it. It's a real time sink. Like I'm just going to quickly try this, and then 2 days later, I'm still hacking away at it and not getting other things done. So, but it's been fun, I got to say. As I said, I've learned a lot, and I still haven't even got to 1%. And I really don't understand 99% of anything I'm reading. So, expert systems are fixed and are considered AI. Well, anything that feels like an AI gets called an AI, but it's not really. I make no, I'm not trying to hide the fact at all that SAM is literally a whole bunch of if statements, right? With a whole bunch of keywords. My code can break apart a sentence and find relevant keywords and work out what to do with those, right? And what I'm inferring. But that's just code. If I want to extend that, I have to add more. But these chatbots can infer, I can ask a question and they can work out what I'm asking. And so I thought it'd be really cool if I could get one of these things to actually, hey Sam, how many tiny picos do I have in stock? And me not have to actually code anything for that to happen. And Sam can go, oh, tiny pico, I know about tiny picos. They're in the database. I'm going to go find out how many are in stock in the database because there's a table that says, inventory, stock quantity, blah, 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 blah. He knows that because he was trained on the data, not because I programmed something. I thought that would be really cool. And so this natural intelligence thing, so last millennium. I don't know. It's pretty cool. It really is. Just I'm shocked. And I got to say, I've been getting ChatGPT to draw me pictures. It was pretty funny. Actually, I should show this. Okay, we will get to PCBs. We will. But this is it's an amazing time we're living in. Yeah, sure, I'm way behind the curve. Many of you have been playing with all this stuff for ages. I know, whatever. I have to really prioritize my time. But something funny happened on my Discord server. And I didn't even have anyone comment, which is pretty cool. Okay, there, right. So there was let me just bring this over here. So here's my Discord chat for those that can play along at home if you want to. So there was a conversation in general about cats and dogs. There are clearly some pro cat people, clearly some pro dog people. Hey, Tommy14. We're talking about machine learning, AI, LLMs and stuff, just temporarily, whatever. And so, well, there you go. You love using ChatGPT. And so, anyway, I signed up for ChatGPT 4 a little while ago just because I wanted to really see if it changed much from 3.5, whatever. Anyway, there was all sorts of stuff about it. And, someone posted this image, which I thought was pretty great. And so, Johnny, I hate cats. They see them as pointless, unnecessary, and basically in the same group as vermin. Right? Next time a cat pisses on you. People think cats are stupid and dogs are smart. Now, I love dogs and cats. I don't have a preference. I don't. As a pet, growing up, I had dogs as pets. But when I was older, I had cats as pets because dogs are just too messy for me. Too messy. And cats are just... Anyway, so I like both. But anyway, the conversation was going, and I thought, okay, this is... I can't remember what time in the morning. When did I post this? 6:42 in the morning, in bed. I logged into ChatGPT on my iPad, and I said, hey, ChatGPT, can you draw me a picture of a cat in a spaceship fighting aliens? And that's what ChatGPT drew for me. Well, actually, no, the first image was a bit more cartoony. I said, can you make it more realistic? And so this is the image I got from ChatGPT, right? It's not quite realistic, very stylized. So I posted that and no one commented, right? I mean, here's my my proof that cats are smarter than dogs, right? And so then I went, okay, that's a bit more explicit. So I said to ChatGPT, hey, draw me a realistic picture of a cat in a classroom teaching dogs how to use the toilet. Because cats know how to use the toilet, but dogs don't, right? And that's what ChatGPT drew for me. And I thought, oh my God, like, how cool is that? And I know this has been forever, and people have been doing images and, you know, all the DALL-E stuff and everything else. I get that, right? But I've not had a use for it yet. And how to us? What? I thought this was hilarious. Anyway, plus electronics is going to make some neat things. Oh, absolutely. And I don't trust most things that ChatGPT tells me, right? When I ask a question, I don't trust most of it. I'll always corroborate. But anyway, I thought that was really cool. Johnny thinks it's fake news though. And one other thing I did, and this was quite hilarious. Let me see if I can get it. So my old office at work, which is now the Lego room, right? It's the kids' room, Lego room. And occasionally Flynn will, like, so there's Lego sets all on the walls. We've got shelves everywhere, and all the built kits are on the walls. It's like a museum, and then there were just bags, like massive bags and bags and bags and bags of Lego, right? I thought I had a lot of Lego when I was a kid, like so much Lego. Anyway, and so Flynn will just go nuts, and there'll just be Lego all over the floor, right? Like all over the floor. Remember how big my office used to be? Many of you remember. And it was like that for like weeks. And like you couldn't walk in there without stepping on Lego. And it was just like, it was covering the whole floor. And I kept saying to him, like, you're going to, you know, you need to clean this up. You're going to get buried in here one day. Like, you know, we're going to come in here looking for you, and we're not going to be able to find you. You're going to be buried under Lego. And, whatever. So then I said to ChatGPT, can you make me a picture of a boy buried under Lego in a room, in a playroom? And that's what ChatGPT drew for me. So I sent it to Flynn, and he cracked up laughing. He's like, how good is that? The first one was more playful, and so I went, can you make it more serious? Can you make it more dramatic? And so that's the image I got. The first one was, yeah, anyway. New Legos, too many model specific parts. Give the old Lego any day. Square blocks, and yeah, nah, the new Lego is amazing. The stuff that, combination of both. But anyway, I thought that was great. So they're the only things. It's really good at dramatic or end of world scenes. Yeah. Lego is less interested in the code and electronics. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. So, but ChatGPT is not quite there yet, I have to say. I want to show you what I mean. This is quite funny. And then we'll get on to PCBs. Like, really, we will. But I wasn't planning on doing this today, but so how do I? Okay, so here's ChatGPT. I'm logged in, version 4. So, Pro Engineer, not here yet, not online. Name's Matt. They were talking on Discord about CTs, about current transformers, and I didn't know what one was. So I asked ChatGPT, "What's a current transformer?" And awesome, gave me the result. You know, what is a current transformer? And like a full-on reply. I found ChatGPT 4 to be much slower in rendering its text, streaming it through. But anyway, full-on everything, right? I know all about CTs being a Sparky. I'm sure you do. I'd never heard of them, and it's quite interesting actually. But anyway, and then here's the thing. I went, okay, so can you draw me a schematic of a current transformer? Here's the problem. Does a current transformer run raisins into currents? How you spell transformer? Oh, okay, right. Can you draw me a schematic? Now watch this. This is the problem, right? So ChatGPT can do awesome creative stuff, but if you ask for a technical thing, you watch. Overnight, it would have learned to do it. No, it won't. Okay, I can try that, but I did this the other day, and the result was not what I expected. Also, it's much quicker to draw a picture with Lego or a picture of space. Here's a schematic diagram of a current transformer. You ready?
Geek says ask it about a past transformer.
A past? Oh, haha. Where's the image? Come on. Wow. See, it can't even draw that. About specific electrical questions, and she's not great. I broke it. Like, what's going on? Wow, that image didn't appear. Please post it. I don't even know if we can do that. Let's see what it says. Certainly. Here's the schematic diagram. Yeah, okay. Well, you see? Yay AI. What's if I refresh the page? Well, please show me that image again. A schematic of a current transformer. Wow. Sorry, Trey. Is that sarcasm? With my access to... No, yeah. I just want you to see the image it gave me. I thought it was amazing and totally what the... No. It's broken. Well, there you go. Oh, no, there we go. There you go. There's a schematic of the current transformer. That one's a little bit different to the last one I got, but yeah. So I'm not quite sure how to implement that in KiCad. Try circuit diagram. Can you show me that as a circuit diagram? Oh, just talking about you, Matt. Are your ears burning? We're talking about current transformers. Do a Google image search on that specific image. Well, that should be an image that was drawn by ChatGPT. That shouldn't be an image that it grabbed off the internet, from my understanding, but I don't know. Error, creating image. Encounter issues of tune generators. Right, so clearly it's down or something. So then I said, can you give me one in, that's why we're talking about it, Matt. I said, can you give it like, can you draw a schematic in the KiCad style, right? And then schematic, I got a whole bunch of, I'm sorry, we don't do, oh, here we go. Creating it. I can't do that because I don't have any, understanding of electronic design, automation, EDA software. But you can tell me how to create one. But anyway, I thought that was quite funny that it could give me all this information and draw all this creative stuff, but it couldn't do a technical diagram. And I would have thought a technical diagram would have been way easier for it to do. Like even an electronics-based one, because there's way more reference out there of electronics based stuff than I believe, than like art is so subjective. Anyway, what about an ASCII art version? Oh my god.
Cian, chat has disconnected.
Oh really? Okay, now it's drawing me an ASCII art version. Funny is that? Kinconi, it's a pretty cool China. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Have you seen Kinconi work? No. Yeah, anyway, let's stop. That's whatever. Let's get on to here. Let's talk about test jigs. Let's talk about test jigs. Sorry about that. I definitely sidetracked. I apologize. It is a fun topic. I should have... Maybe I'll do a dedicated live stream about that stuff. You're talking about CTs and automation. I don't know anything about CTs. I first heard of them the other day when Matt posted a question about them and some links. I'd never heard of them before. So that's why I asked ChatGPT about them. And then I went down this rabbit hole of images and stuff. Test jig called Will Smith. Yeah, no, Adam, no. Hi, by the way, but no. Please make it very clear when you do a stream about this so I can avoid it. Sorry, Quixotic Geek. It was just... I'm sorry. I apologize. So, let's get on to this. Test jigs. Test jigs. So, everyone remember my first jig that I made? This is what it looked like. I've still got this one. This one, I used to still use this for quite a while, up until like middle of last year. I was still using this for my nanos only, because the nanos are quite difficult to put in the test jig to build a thing for. So that was my original stacked test jig. Let's get some light. Whoa, that is bright. Too bright. Wait. Oh, that's a bit better. Okay, so that was my original. And it worked fine. This one didn't need a clamp because the boards go into... Do I have a... Okay, that is not a Tiny Pico Nano, but see, it's a Nano S3. So they would go in like this. They get flashed and then I'd pop them out, right? And then I had the version that had the clamp over the top, which was even taller, and it was just, it was a bit crazy. And so the problem with it was it had no balance when I was the clamped version. I always had to hold it with one hand when I was doing anything with it. But it was fine. It didn't take up much room. But then it was also missing some functionality and blah, blah, blah. And so I eventually redesigned this thing to look like this, which is my current test jig, which has been interesting. So I have on, like, they've been abused, that I can't tell you how many boards I've tested on these. I've got 4 of them. This is number 3. Is that in focus? I hope it's in focus. And look, it worked fine. I added the adapters, those you remember. So I've got a whole bunch of different adapters here for different boards. And so I used to have to have a dedicated one for each board type, but that was back when I just had Tiny Picos and Tiny Pico Nanos. But this way I can not only swap out what I'm testing, but I can repurpose any one. So this one here, for instance, was a Feather S2 adapter. You might be able to see the writing there. But it can be any feather because all the feathers are the same pinouts. So I'm able to, when it's in there, assuming it was plugged in, which it's not, and running, I can use the menu button here and I could actually say, you are now a Feather S3 adapter, and I can test Feather S3s on here. So I wasn't locked in to just one board type per adapter, which is really cool. It uses an EEPROM over here, which I can just flash the EEPROM to tell it what it is, and it'll remember that until I tell it it's something else. So that was pretty cool. Had a color screen, little LCD here. I dramatically dropped the height, which was awesome. It was like half as high. And I also had this much better clamping system that allowed me to move it like this. These are still the original clamps. The original clamps and the original 3D printed pieces that I printed. I've never damaged one. They're much looser now than they used to be, but these work great. So it means that I can clamp in any position, because each board will have a different place I need to clamp it, and it works great. The problem is it takes a heap of space. Like it takes more than double the amount of desk space, plus all the cables sticking out the side, which really sucks. So, you know, there's no place to hide everything. So the footprint on my desk, where I used to be able to put 2 or 3 of these at a time, I can only fit 2 of these on my desk without having all the cables intertwined and ripping things off when I'm doing stuff. And so that's been a bit of a pain. And they're also just starting to show signs of wear and tear. They're all running Raspberry Pi 4s. Hey Graham. And they're using these Argon Neo cases as heat sinks. And I've got that still persistent issue where the USB ports will fail after a certain period of time. I'll put a board in, I'll go to flash it, and it'll say no USB found, and I'll go, what? What's wrong with this board? Well, it turns out nothing, because all I do is unplug the USB port, plug it into a different one, flash it, and it finds it, and it flashes it. And that USB port stays failed until I reboot the Pi. So when the Raspberry Pi 5 came out, and the Pi 5 is obviously using a completely different chipset for USB. They're using their RP2 chip, RP1 chip for all the USB stuff as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. I thought I would give a Pi 5 a go and see if that fixes the USB thing. So unfortunately, here's a version with a Pi 5. Firstly, the Pi 5 is not compatible with these cases, although there is a new one. Is it RP2? Yeah, that's right. RP2 is RP2040. RP1 is their controller chip. Yep, sorry. So, although there is a new version of these out now for the 5, I didn't have one at the time. And my Raspberry Pi 5s, I got the active cooling fans for them. And unfortunately, because of the height of these, I can't fit my test jig PCB on anymore. I need much taller standoffs. And all of my test jig ones have got short standoffs, as you might see here, to fit into this case. So none of these boards will actually fit in my Pi 5, which sucks. So what I did was, I do have tall headers. I didn't want to desolder one of these things, so I just sandwiched header on a header just to test the Pi 5. And the Pi 5's kind of hanging here. Not very stable. Not great. But I wanted to test it. So, thanks TraddyDev. Look up, you disable them, enable them, that fixes. Right, so I've got some code that every time I start my test jig software, it reinitializes the USB bus. And sometimes that fixes the port, but sometimes it doesn't. And it's really frustrating when you're testing boards and you're getting fails and you don't know if it's the board or if it's the test jig. And for me, 95% of the time can pick if it's the test jig or not, and which is fine. But if I got someone else in to help me test, they'd be failing a whole bunch of boards that shouldn't be failing, because it's not the boards, it's the test jig. So I got the 5 going. One of my Pi stacks has an extra header stacked onto it for spacing. Right, well these big, tall, stackable headers actually do fit okay on the 5, but I as I said, I didn't want to create a new one of these for the 5. One of these boards. I've got plenty of PCBs. I didn't want to create one for the 5 because I want to redesign these, right? Which is what today was supposed to be all about. Sorry, got distracted. leave that off. So I temporarily did this. Anyway, got it all working. There was a lot of code changes to get it working. There's a whole bunch of stuff that isn't compatible with the 5 anymore, like the RPi GPIO subsystem is not compatible, although there's alternatives and stuff. So it took me a while, step at a time, and I finally got it all working. And I spent a day flashing boards, the same boards, not the same boards, as in they were all Feather S3s, and I was doing half of them on one test jig, like my Pi 4 test jig, and half on this. And the Pi 4 test jig failed about 5 or 6 times. There was about 200 boards or 300 boards I did, so let's say 100 on each test jig, right? The Pi 4 failed about 4 or 5 times with the USB thing, where I just switched the port and it worked. So no failed boards, but I think it was 5 times the USB port went, right? And on the Pi 5, 0 times did the USB port fail. So that's a really good sign. I'm hoping that my USB issues will go away when if I move to the Pi 5. I've actually got 2 Pi 5s here, just 4 gigabyte models, 4 test jigs, but I need to get them into a test jig, and so I can either make the old version for them and just stick with the old design, or I can try to solve some of these cable issues with a new design and maybe get the footprint smaller. So I'm going to look at doing that, 1 hour into the live stream, and I'm going to finally look at doing that. Composites on Windows is just a nightmare. You have to make sure you hit every single setting. Yeah, I can't comment about Windows, but there's nothing worse on these test jigs having a board fail because of the Pi, not because of the board. I always test the tester first. I was always test the tester first. What does that mean? Test the tester. I mean, the testers work fine, but the USB, for some reason, I thought it was heat related. It's not. Was it a bit better with the heat? So I updated the version. Shit, it's connected. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm pulling that apart. I'm going to lose my USB cable. So this is actually my current version. Some of you might remember I made this version where I've got a cutout here, excuse me, and even under this section here is a cutout. And I was going to put a fan on here. Never got around to sticking a fan, like a sideways fan. It turns out the temperature it wasn't temperature related. The temperature was lower on this by a little bit, but it's not temperature related. It's just a driver chip that they're using. It's just flaky. I'm not the only one that's had problems, but obviously for me it's exacerbated because it's a test jig, and when it has a problem, it's not like, oh, it can't mount my USB drive. Like it gives me fails on boards. USP should be, what? Oh, okay. Wonder if the Linux version is not handling respin. So it's not to do with the drive mounting or cycling the drive lead or anything else. Like I can test 100 boards on this thing and reuse, and the drive lead is reused every time. Like you know what I mean? Like it's not, whatever it is, the port just fails for no reason. Like it won't even see its serial. It's not an issue of mounting a volume or anything. It won't even see the serial port. Anyway, hey, Embedded Hobbyist. So here we go. So we're in KiCad 8. The thing I'm most excited about KiCad 8, the one thing I do know is here, although apparently it doesn't do all the things I wanted it to do yet, is the new property views, where like I can click on this and I've now got a property list here, so I don't have to double click on it to open this. Well, for some things I still might, but not for everything. So like for instance, when I forget, so that setting's not there. That's annoying. So that's an IC. I just clicked on this IC, yeah? And I'll often, when I'm building something, that's what I mean by testing the tester. One pogo pin could make you fail a bunch. Right, but in my case, it's not pogo pins or anything else. It's the USB port failing, telling me that there's a problem with my board, when in fact there's a problem with the USB port. Hey, Emery. What's the bit you're most looking forward to? Oh, the property stuff, right. So, like, I'll put this part in here, and I don't know why. Like, it's a surface mount part, but by default, KiCad doesn't know, right? So, like, SMD, and then often, if it's a, so that's one thing, and then stuff like this, I've already set these, I think. Do I have another one? What do I have here that's through hole? Okay, this one here. This is a through hole component, right? So, I've set it through hole. I also don't want it to be, if I'm exporting this for the pick and place machine, I don't want it to be in my position file. Otherwise, it's going to put an entry in the pick and place thing for a through hole part, right? So, in the past, you have to double click on it and do that. Or if I want to go to this one and I want to set the override, like, it's a lot of clicks. Right, I have to double click on it, then I have to change tab, then I have to come in here to change the solder mask expansion override. So now a lot of that stuff is in the side here. I just click on it, and I can, right here, I can go exclude, and I can even do the override, solder clearance override. But interestingly, I can't tell it that it's a surface mount part or a through hole part. Catch you later, quick study geek. Enjoy your food. So, like, I was told when I asked about this a while ago that it's the first pass and it's still missing a few things. So, like, you can't do multi-select with it. If I grab these two here, or you can, but, like, for instance, okay, no, better yet. If I wanted to change these annulars on all of these, right, I can click on one of them, and you can see here, I can change the hole size, right? So it's 1.016, and where's the size in Y? Oh, it's not giving me one. Interesting. It says size X rather than radius, but whatever, right? So I can change its radius and the hole size. What I want to do though is I want to be able to select all of them. Oh, maybe it will let me. I thought this wasn't possible yet. Hang on. So if I make the radius of this 1.7. Oh, I can. Right, maybe they updated it. Cool. So in the past, if I wanted to adjust all of these holes and annulars, I have to go one at a time. I either have to go to the footprint, or maybe in the footprint editor I can't do it yet. Hang on. Edit library. I didn't want to edit library footprint. Wait, edit just the local footprint. Okay, maybe here you can't do it yet. Is there a properties view here? Show properties manager. Right, so can I do it here? Oh, I can. 1.85 and 1 and 1. Oh wait, so I have to hit enter on it? Or did that actually update? Oh, it updated. Okay, as I'm going. Cool, you can. Okay, that's awesome. Credit to me for what? What have I done? I didn't do anything. It's the KiCad team doing this. What do you mean? I don't understand. Anyway, so this is the thing I'm looking most forward to is not having to do things like that one at a time. And the properties panel. So it looks like they've progressed that much further. Okay. So let's, this is my current design and I want to reduce it a lot. It sticks out quite a lot. I've also, so these are MCP 23017s. I use 2 of them. I've actually bought a bunch of, what are they called? AW9523 IO expanders. Hey, Intermittent Tech, how you doing? So they are much smaller. I've actually got a few of these still in stock. More of them than I thought I had. I thought I was going to run out. Always the cheats. Way to perform the same thing. Right, I could have edited the annulars in the actual file, the raw XML file, which is what I normally do if I really need to change a whole bunch of stuff and it's going to be super cumbersome. I'll just go and edit the text file. But having the property window is really important. Like it's a fundamental thing. But there seems to be still some things in this list that are missing from it, though. But that's okay. So the other parts that I've got a bunch of them coming. They're QFN. They're smaller. I don't know. Hey, Hubba Bubba. I don't know if I'm going to move to them or not. I've got the space between. I want to keep the same adapters. I want to play with the position of the USBs. So like as I showed, if I move to here, no, that one. The USB, this USB here that hangs out here to here. So the Pi 5, these ports are different. The USB used to be on this side, and the Ethernet here, but now they've been swapped over. I really wouldn't mind maybe moving this one back and then getting a shorter cable. I've actually bought a whole bunch of these little really short cables now, I found. So where I did have these really long cables hanging out for testing, these are much shorter now, which is great. And I want to get USB A to C to go from here to here and the same. And so if you look at just that difference there, I mean, that's a considerable space saving on my desk, right? Knocking these cables and whatever else. So, yeah. So this whole section here, so these are, these three, these two, and that cutout here are where the block sits for the adapter. That doesn't have to sit there. That can actually sit over the top of these header pins. I can push that whole section back, which is what I'm thinking of doing, assuming that I can. Why is it not letting me multi-select? I'm selecting the footprint, but it's not highlighted. I wonder if it's locked. Look at that, it's selected, but it's not actually highlighted. I can move it. It's not showing it as highlighted. No, that's not the solution, John. The solution is not using a Raspberry Pi 4. That process of reinitializing the bus takes about 5.5 seconds. I can't do that on every time I flash it. Yeah, and then the code has to restart as well. So yeah, they're not solutions. I've been trying to fix it with all sorts of stuff for years. Like I've been using these test jigs for a long time. Practice. Iterative. So I can't look at these. I can't. So that I can select. So is it actually selected? I do that. And I select that one. It's showing multi-selection here, but there's no highlight on them. How are you supposed to know that it's selected? Okay, obviously a bug. Whatever. This is KiCad. KiCad 8. I'm going to grab all these. I'm going to group them together. I don't specifically need this cutout anymore. Well, actually, I don't want this cut out, but I want to grab this and move it out the way once it's grouped. Grouping, group items. I might actually duplicate it. No? What? What happened to my group? Whoa. Maybe I shouldn't be using KiCad 8. Oh, that's weird. So duplicate isn't working. Duplicate. Oh, it did that time. But the last time it didn't do it. Okay. Like if I was to move this, I don't want the cutouts because I lose the PCB area, right? Any recommendations on simple PCB KiCad files to practice learning KiCad and creating PCBs? Hello, forehand. You don't need a PCB to practice learning it. If you want to create PCBs, then you just start creating. I mean, there's stacks of open source KiCad files around on the internet, on GitHub and stuff. You can just grab anything, and KiCad comes with a whole bunch of examples / demos. They're probably the best ones to start with, I would say. Let me just load this up. So when you install KiCad on the Mac, it looks like this. There's a demos folder, and in the demos folder, they've got all of these different things. Script examples, and then, these are all, different projects. I don't know what StickUp is. It comes with stuff. But then just look on GitHub. Just videos, just on YouTube. Just watch lots of videos. Yeah. What Alan says. Let's close that off. The problem is I also need this adapter and to be the same distance apart, so I need to know how wide that is from there to, oh God, drawings. So if I go for number 10, why can't I grab the center? Oh, it's not letting me grab the center of the... Okay. I really don't want to do a bitch session about, I'll do it from there, about KiCad 8. So far, it's a bit... Anyway, so what is that? 10.3. I got to remember that because I need the distance to be exactly the same when I change it. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. And that's going to be sitting over. I hope it's going to be sitting over. I'm going to get rid of this section. I need to bring all this back. Okay, so these mounting holes here are not for the Pi, they were for the this back section of the base that it's sitting on. Oh, can we see here? Right, to mount this, I've got acrylic on the bottom, PCB on the top, like a sandwich with the Pi in the middle, sandwich in the middle. I might still do the same thing, I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to want this to... What I might do is, for reference, I'm going to grab these. And I'm going to change them to be fab. So they're no longer edge cuts. They won't cut into the PCB. So now I can put this back. Horizontally it doesn't really matter because I can slide the connector, right? So I was thinking that it would sit something like this over the top. right? And that pushes things back. I mean, that's quite a lot, actually. More than I expected. Like, that's like 3 centimeters, 30 millimeters back. That's already 30 millimeters I can save off the whole length of the board. So that's cool. I'm going to move these closer to the edge so I can route around them easier. Really? What? I'll fix up exactly how far out they're pushed later. I'll align them properly. I just want to get these over so I can move these traces over. I'll just get rid of those. Right now I don't want to reroute everything. I'm going to see if I can just keep it all the same and probably just keep the MCP components as well. Because as I said, I've got a stack of them, but I've also got those other parts coming. This is not tiny. This is a big board. Compared to what I normally do. So I need to move these things sideways because I need to get this adapter 30 centimeters back now. So 30 millimeters. 30 millimeters back. Good knowledge of parts descriptions. What do you mean by that? Parts descriptions. So that mounting hole here and that mounting hole here are the Raspberry Pi mounting holes. I'm assuming that they are still exactly the same between the 5 and the 4. I know they moved some things around. So I'm just going to hope that they're the same. I wonder if I can get the board narrower as well. So all of that has to come back. Maybe it'd be easy if I grab everything and pull it down. Oh, right. Yeah, I tend to make my own. Probably 90%, 95% of all of the footprints and even schematic symbols that I use are my own ones. I might start with someone else's as a reference to look at, but anytime I've used someone else's in the past, it's bitten me in the backside, like it just did recently on a client job. So, yeah. So if that's where the Pi is going to sit, obviously I can't have a hole there. I mean, that can go back further. So what do I need? 13.3 approximately. Wait, wrong one. Let's just call it, that'll do. Good enough. Right, I want to just measure where that's going to be. Oh, 10.3. Wow, I can't even read. Let's try that again. 10.3 away. Or 10. Sorry. That'll do. Okay, so this is where I want the adapters to be now. I don't think that's going to fit within the holes. That's the problem. Like if I was to grab that, that, and that. Oops, no. That, and that. If I just duplicate them and move them up. Yeah, that's not going to fit with the holes. So I'm going to have to make this thing's going to have to go back further. But that's okay, I've got the, well, apart from these traces, that sits there just temporarily. And then from there, I go 10. Obviously, I don't want to redesign this from scratch. That'd be an absolute waste of time. There. Then we want this to be there, which means these traces here need to go around. See all this stuff here needs to go around. But that's going to allow me to chop a huge amount off. I mean, that's the whole, that would be the whole test jig now. Like if I move these up, oh, really? So there's a bit of space there. So I've been able to move this section back here 35 millimeters. So that's 35 millimeters. Like that's huge. That is huge. Okay. Mark our own footprints and symbols at work as they had to go through the quality department. Yeah, I just do it just because I want to know that it's right. And often even with the IPC footprint standards, whatever else, I need stuff to be specific to my manufacturing capability. So, you know, I know, you know, what thickness stencil I'm getting, and I know how my paste works when it's being pushed through the stencil, and I know which pads will need to be reduced because of too much paste, or they'll need to be made a little bit bigger to make sure I can get enough paste through and stuff like that, right? So I'll often be adjusting my footprints to suit my manufacturing process. Cheers, Tradie Trev. I always wanted to go smaller though, but it's just not worth it. Okay. Now the other problem is I don't have any more of these screens. I don't particularly want to buy any more. So I might have to move to a new screen, which I don't, yeah. That's going to be a problem. How are we going to do this? How am I going to fit everything in? How am I going to reroute? Maybe those buttons will have to be moved. Maybe I move the buttons down. This stuff won't be here anymore. Okay, so let's move this. This is gonna be fun. Let's just turn a whole bunch of layers off. Okay, I'm gonna grab those. I'm gonna move them out the way for now. Medical product cheap is okay as long as you have the funds for the certification. What? Mutant cybernetics. What do I think about 4 layers? There's no need for this to be a 4-layer board. It's a large board, and it so with a 4-layer board, you get charged by how much PCB surface, and it's just extra cost for no reason. Yeah, don't need to go 4 layers on this. I'm just going to move this out the way. That's interesting. So they've changed this stuff. And why is that not even violates DRC? Oh, this looks a bit different. Does this look different? Minimum clearance. Minimum track width. I have to reduce this just for the moment. I don't know why it's complaining. Parts and everything to make one for better. Lots of dropouts. This is RC2. Well, I don't know what this is. This came out after RC2 was announced. This was the latest one in the nightly when I grabbed it. What is it? About KiCad. Well, RC2. I don't know what build version, but yeah, it's RC2. Look, I get it's going to be buggy. That's fine. Oh, right. Maybe it's because of this. Maybe it's because of the holes. That's probably what it is. Those other ones weren't touching the holes. So, bet you this one won't move either. Right. Okay. So, not a lot I can do about that right now. Well, I can move this out the way is what I can do for now. Okay. So, that's all it is. It's fair enough. I should put that back. That should actually be 0.15. Should really be 0.2, but anyway. What about that another day? Oh, that's a... Why is that not snapping? It does when I zoom in. Okay. I mean, this stuff's boring. Sorry. I just want to get this out the way and see if I can get the adapter in and clear. See, the battery connector can go behind. So this is all just to be able to turn the battery on and off when I'm testing. So part of the test jig process is I enable the battery, I turn off 5 volts going to the board, and I check that it runs off battery, which checks the VBAT pins and it checks that whole. Like if there's any problem with any of the circuitry on the battery side, the board will turn off and it won't be able to. Like it won't run anymore. So that's how I check battery. And if that's all working, then I know charging's working. You enjoy my design phase? I don't know. I mean, thank you, but I would have thought it would be more frustration than not for a lot of people. Okay, I'm going to move all this battery stuff just for the moment. It's going to have to be relayed out. Okay. Let's get out of the way. We'll worry about vires another day for ground. Let's get them out of the way. So some of you might remember I was originally looking at doing that's going to be a problem. Don't know how I'm going to get that one out. Redoing this with a CM4, and I started doing that. I started the CM4 version. I'm glad I didn't, because the CM4 actually has quite a few issues with it. And one of them being the USB as well. And I was going to go to CM4 so I could change the layout and hopefully fix the USB problem, but it turns out the USB problem is inherent in all of the 4s. So there is a CM5 coming out at some point. I'm interested to see maybe at that point if I can get this even smaller, but this reduction alone is going to make a huge difference. So well, I hope it will anyway. Okay, so that should be enough clearance for me to lift that whole thing up. I mean, there's obviously a whole bunch of bottom layer traces that need to move. Yeah, sorry for YouTube's dropping out. I don't know why. Okay, this should be interesting. Let's see if I can just grab all this. And is there anything underneath I need to worry about? I should grab those. At least to there. Grab that one. Okay. I feel like I should group this while I'm doing this in case I need to reselect it. Okay. What? You all saw me just group it, right? See, again, it happened again. Incomplete, undo, redo, some items not... What? So that whole group didn't work. So that's twice I've tried to group something and twice it hasn't worked. Okay, well, buggy. That's frustrating. Oh, I grabbed that. Didn't want to grab that. I don't want to grab the copper fill. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. So right click, grouping, group items. Okay, second time it worked. No, I hit M and move and it jumps to that, and now they're not grouped anymore. Oh my god. Oh, and I hit undo and KiCad's gone. That's what happens when you oh god. And of course I can't load this in 7 because I did an 8. Let's see if autosave worked. Well, this is potentially embarrassing. Yes, it is. Wow. Okay, so that's not good. Hey Yaz, how you doing? Okay, let's see if there's any autosave that I can load. Because that is a bunch of stuff that I've now lost. Multi-board. Test jig. Backups. 822, which is what that would be. So no. So I just lost those changes. That sucks. Yep, they're gone. No, this is 8. I thought I'd do it in 8 because RC2 came out yesterday. But it is not stable at all. Okay, well, so I'm back to before I move those buttons out of the way. Yes, well, 8 is not. 8 is release candidate 2. It's not beta. Beta is before release candidate. So this is the second release candidate. Once it's a release candidate, it could go live at any moment, right? So, yeah. That's okay. I'm not complaining. This is the first time. Hey, on scream. Just watch what I know what I did. I was going to do it all again, which is annoying. This is, you know, it's the risks of using a new version of software. The problem is I don't even know how I would do a bug report for this. As you can, like, you know, it's a, it's the steps that I was doing are not easy steps to potentially reproduce to make it happen. I'd have to come up with a much simpler set of steps to be able to bug report it. Okay, well, that's still a group, and that's on fab. So the issue is having multiple groups, it looks like. I save regularly as well. Well, I thought I did. I was hitting Command S, but the timestamp on this here is the same as the backup. So I wonder if I can find something in Dropbox. Hang on. Let's see if Dropbox took a backup of it. Autosave 823. That autosave is later than my 822. If I restore that file, where is it? Sorry, I'm not showing my Dropbox content, I apologize, but yeah. Phone. Interesting. Sorry, I wish I could show you this, but it's got too many things on here I can't hide, like just my Dropbox related stuff. So just bear with me a second. I'm seeing if I can. Where's versions? Now it's gone. It showed me a later version, but now it's not showing me that version anymore. Wait. Maybe it is. Yeah, no. No. It was a slightly later timestamp, but it's the same file. Yeah, no. Nope. Okay, it's all gone. Bummer. That's really frustrating. Sorry about that. High-speed internet during the time of slow speed. You were what? What are we talking about? We're talking about universities. Sorry. I've also right. Okay. Sorry, my Discord. Wow, okay. Hey Iggy, how you doing? Yeah, I could do it. I'm gonna have to do it again. I know what I need to do now. Like, it's gonna be absolutely, like, I've been going for almost 2 hours. It's gonna be painful to do again. Damn it. And doing it in here again is just gonna be, it's just gonna crash again. Like, this grouping is completely unstable. I could go back and do it in 7 and just not do in 8. What do you think? Maybe that's the best option. Bye. Okay, so let's go to KiCad 7. Open recent. Okay, that's my version 3. Save as. I renamed what I was just working on to V8, so because I can't load that. Multi-board tester 2024 01 version 7. Okay. Back in 7. Okay, so we kind of know what we're doing. Turn all those off. Let's grab these buttons and move them out the way. What are we hot gluing? What? Sorry, I'm not really following what's happening on the chat right now. So all of this has got to be moved. You see they highlight? Oh, maybe the highlight on those are not, maybe the highlight's underneath it. So maybe the highlighting thing isn't an 8 issue, it's a footprint issue. Group. Oh, no. I'm missing some bits. Group.
Cian, chat has disconnected.
Okay. And you're back. Gonna change these to fab. Oh, right. I can't. I don't have multi-select. So here's a good example, right? I can't now hit E on these to change them all. I'd either have to go one at a time and change them to a different layer, or I need to go into here, edit, change text and graphics properties, which is, that's also another bug in 7 where the panel takes forever to load up, 7.10, and say, okay, so PCB graphic items, only selected, visible, and set them to fab. So I have to do all of this to change all of these without, see that's on fab now, without that properties thing. So that properties thing is really, really important. Yes, when you make them wonky on purpose, they are on purpose, 100%. Okay, let's group all this stuff again. If we can. Really careful which blue ones I grab. Yeah, that's annoying. Thank you. So is that all of those? What else do I need? That one, that one, that one. Probably should grab that one and that one. Really? I don't like how it does its curves, its arcs that way. Anyway, whatever. So, grabbed and group. I said group. Move up. Yay. So that can move up now. So see, it works in here. I just did exactly the same things. And in 8, it crashed. Either didn't work or crashed. You have to okay, so let's try to move the battery stuff. Might as well grab these wires as well. Get them out of the way. Okay. Is everyone still there? It's awfully quiet. It was approximately 35 that I wanted to move.
Michael says hello.
Hello. Cool. Still there. So I'm going to move it 35 millimeters. to there. And I'm going to move all of this up 35 millimeters. What's that from? From here. No? Where's it from? One of them. My computers. What computer science did I learn? I was terrible at school. Don't tell my kids.
Slotibot first says, may the 4th be with you.
Mark Olsen says select what you want to move, then press Shift plus M and you can do minus 35 mm exactly.
Oh. Interesting. I'd lock the axis normally, but that's the offset shift, is it? The offset placement? I can't remember what this is. Yeah. How you doing, Mark? I was thinking about you the other day. Meant to ping you, but I've been very, very busy and distracted. I hope you're well. I hope Emma's well. Okay, so that's got to come in. That was 10 something, wasn't it? Away. Whoop. Whoop. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I know what that is. A little panel that opened up all the way over here. Cancel. Why is that locked? Status locked. Okay, let's unlock that just for the moment. Probably because it was doing that. Lock that one. It was probably rerouting where I didn't want it to be routing. So I locked it. That would explain it. Let's just lock them again now. So if I want to move this, Shift M, move item, minus 35. That is very cool, Mark. Very cool. And we were sleeping. Oh, I'm jealous. Very jealous. Okay, so I know if I move these USB connectors, they're going to smack into that hole. That ain't good. Let's find out, shall we? Let's go grab these. Let's do what Mark says. We're going to shift it 35. Oh, that's okay. But we actually want it more. Want it all the way over here. We probably want it even more. Let's move all these over. This is less PCB design and more PCB squeezing stuff into stuff. Try moving 5x5. What? That's cool, Michael. But yeah, I'm not going to try that now. I'm going to oh, that's interesting. I have to fix that. Okay, so how far up can we go? Maybe this is the USB at the back. Like this is the one that goes to the Pi. Not enough still. I'm going to fix that trace later. So I want the other one to be next to the board. Okay, so this one here, it's going to be more of a challenge. And I'm not even considering that there's all this stuff on the bottom layer as well. We'll worry about that later. This is going to be a mess to remake later, but I want this to be about here, so it's opposite. That'll do, pig. Yeah, did not like that one. Yeah, that's going to have to yeah, overwrite the lock. This is going to be a fun rerouting, let me tell you. Okay, I might as well get everything where I want it to be. Button 1, let's get rid of you for now. I'm going to delete these. Because I want to just shift this thing up without any interference for now. This should be fun. Grab those and the holes. I wonder if any of it's locked. No. Yeah, I'm not doing the Shift M because I don't know how far I want to move it. I guess somewhere around there will do. And we're going to move to there, snap. Move that to there, snap. John, no, not really. There's no RF on this, so no. There's no requirement for a dedicated ground plane like that, unless you. It depends on how bad your ground is. You definitely want signal. You can't do layer 2 a ground plane, like only as a ground plane, because that's assuming that you can make the whole board with one layer, like all the routing with one layer, which is extremely difficult and unusual. So yeah, no, there's when you say RF, I mean, you mean emission, just general EMC stuff. Sure, I mean, I've got a, yeah, no, I think I've got ground on top and bottom. Stitching the two together, it's fine. There's nothing about this board that needs 4 layers or a dedicated ground layer. There is no crystal on here. Raspberry Pi's got a crystal, well, technically, and my boards do, but they're all separate. So there's no crystal on here. There's nothing oscillating on here specifically. I mean, there's an SPI bus to the screen, but Yeah. Well, RF is radio frequency. You're talking about emissions. You're talking about, yeah. I mean, that's considerably smaller. That's a huge win on size, assuming I can get all this in and routed. So, sorry about that. Best decision made is use 4-layer minimum for everything. It makes routing so much easier. Sure, it does. It just depends on the size of the board and if it's really, really. I mean, I can go 4-layer, easy enough. And I might end up doing it on this. I don't know, but right now, I don't believe this is going to be a problem for 2-layer. Go approximately there. Really? Signal, full ground, ground plus power traces, signal. Sure. They are not 1.5. They are, in fact, 2. Okay. Ooh, funky. Look at that. Okay. I've just done 1 6-layer board. They're just none of my boards are cheap boards, so you know, 6 layers is not something I'd like to do if I can avoid it. It depends on the speeds, John, and like, yeah. Things are they're different now. Like, shit. Right, that's a problem. I just need to fix some of these up. Yeah, a lot of the PCB issues that they used to have aren't as much of an issue anymore. Wow. This is doing some funky things. You just got to look at what the application is and what it requires. What is going on here? How are there two? Oh, whoa, when did that happen? Holy shit. Yeah. Wow. That was crazy. Yeah, that's and not saying that it's not relevant, but it's just, you know, you got to look at how you know, if you've got any real high speed signals, and you got to look at whether you need, like, I don't care if I've got any, you know, like I'm not putting this through certification. I'm not overly worried as long as nothing's interfering with the use of the board, which is not. Oh no, you've got to fix the Pokemon account. Okay, and there's a lot of stuff here that needs to be sorted out. Anyway, my point is, you don't need. I don't think I need 4 layers to solve this, and but whether it turns out to be just better to do 4 layers, that's, you know, we'll find out, I guess. Making this more compact is definitely going to be an interesting thing to solve now with the routing. I don't have that big hole in the middle anymore, which is good, but I do have these holes to move through, and then I can't really get a lot of these traces through here. So I'm still moving everything else around the outside. Oh, you don't want to learn from me. I say it all the time, folks. Like, I'm not a teacher. Don't learn from me. Everything I do, I'm learning on the fly as well. So, you know. You know, a good example of what I'm trying to say is that, like, USB, okay? Like the USB ports on my boards. They're the USB Type-C, but they're just USB 2.0, right? The general rule with USB, it's not 3, it's not, I'm not doing, you know, super fast Thunderbolt speeds, whatever else, but people still say you should always trace length, match your D plus D minus, the differential pairs, they blah, 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 right? They need to be whatever. And the truth is they don't. If your board is small enough, if you've got enough clearance around them so you're not getting cross signal propagation or noise from other signals, if you route them carefully, they don't have to be length matched, right? They work perfectly fine without it. You got to look at your whole board in total. There are ways of getting around a lot of that type of stuff. Just removing the ground and power traces from the signal layers means it takes way less time to route the rest. Yeah, possibly. I'm not even looking at the power at the moment. She works, she's good enough for Australia. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that works, but yeah, maybe. Those need to come all the way up here. That's interesting. So a lot of these traces that are down here now, they're not supposed to be down here now. They're supposed to be up here. So this is where it's going to be fun. That goes to there. I'm not going to get all this rerouted today, I don't think, but not on stream. What's the time? 10 minutes past. See, that one's got to go. How's that work? Just for now, shits and giggles. Really don't want to do that though, but let's just put it to there. And that's got to get to there. That sucks that I made these two this way. Oh well. Absolutely tech nebulous. There are rules, of course, but you got to look at the scope of your board and like there are. like my USB example, or even the crystal example, like people do worse things just with signal. Like forget about your crystal, sure, running at 40 megahertz on my boards, for instance, or USB or whatever else. People cross I/O, or they route things too close together, like SPI pins and stuff. They get crosstalk on those, which will be way more detrimental on your project. Like if you do good grounding around your crystal and stuff, then you know you don't need a 4-layer board to mitigate issues from a crystal or even from USB if you route them well. But you can do some really stupid things just with I/O that aren't apparent to you, but they might be apparent to an end user when they do something with those that then causes other things on your board. There's so many things. Porsche will have some crosstalk problems, touch traces. Yeah, I did. There was a couple of them on my original design that went over the SPI bar. Well, they were on a different layer. Well, that was a 4-layer board, wasn't it? Maybe it wasn't. No, it wasn't a 4-layer board. It was a 2-layer board. But I solved it still as a 2-layer board. I didn't have to go to a 4-layer board. But yeah, I had a couple of the touch traces that went over the SPI bus instead of going around them. And when the screen was being hammered, it would trigger the touch. Stuff like that, right? Yeah, I'm going to worry about routing that later. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. Whoop.
Morning, Sam.
One sec. Morning, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you. That was the postman. Yay. I think these are those lenses I bought. No Uber Eats, I wish. 30 years and I've broken a lot of them.
Mark Olson says G'day Posty.
G'day Posty, yes. Yeah, breaking them is fine as long as you know what you're doing, or you're prepared to take the consequences if you don't know what you're doing. I think when you start out designing PCBs, yep, they're the lenses. Yay! For my thermal camera. We should give those a shot. What is that? They sent me a little tape measure. Okay, thanks. When people start out designing stuff for the first time, like it's funny, I'm sure I did the same thing, I can't really remember. Put so much effort into trying to get the design perfect the first time, and you don't learn that way. You learn by, I believe, like, you know, you learn by not making mistakes, but like to and ah over your first design's always going to have problems that you don't know about. It's not the ones that you think you know about, it's the ones that you don't know about. You need to get them out, get them manufactured, and find out what other issues are there. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway. So is this what I'm saying? I don't know how to run traces. Once my schematic is done, I'm here to learn. 4 layers, I think that was why I do things. No 90 degree, also no acute angles were related to the 90s. That's right, the issues related to acute angles, 90 degrees, don't exist anymore. That doesn't mean you should just, if you can avoid doing it, don't do it, maybe, but the reasons why aren't there anymore. Trial and error and experience is what you're saying. Right, like you gotta, we used to say in the games industry all the time, like you got to ship your game. Like you can't, if you sit there and keep working on the game forever to perfect it, to make sure it's perfect before you ship it, you'll never ever ship it. Just ship it. Ship it and keep refining it afterwards. Hey Alex, because you don't know what things you need to fix until it's out there. So God, they've stucky taped everything around this. If you learn by making mistakes, you are always learning because you're always making mistakes. Is that the question? Well, the idea is you don't make the same mistake, hopefully more than once, sometimes twice, Depends how long ago you made it the first time. But like, I'm not talking about learning by making mistakes. I'm talking about learning by finding out things that you didn't know about because you didn't get to the point of finding out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Lenses. Shall we get them in? I did print that thing. Make my project perfect. We realised I should just get it done and see what it needs. And sure enough, came out, wouldn't have found out. Exactly. Right. You don't know what you don't know. You know that whole thing, you don't know what you don't know. So rather than fixating on the things that you think you do know to get perfect, just get it out. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. Always sleep on design. And look, next day. Yeah, I tend to break that rule of myself all the time, Alan. All the time. My issue is that when I order PCBs, the salespeople think that it's the final one, so updates timelines and make promises. No, you just don't tell them you've ordered PCBs yet. Okay, I know I'm sidetracked. Sorry. I am sidetracked. I'm going to save where I'm up to. So I showed this on my stream a couple of weeks ago that I got, my thermal camera, and it had that issue where close up, you couldn't see close up with it. Oh right, it goes to the purchasing department. Yeah, that's a problem. What's my most prized project that taught you lessons that you would pass forward? All of them. I don't have one particular, because almost everything I've worked on has taught me stacks in so many different things, not just PCB design, but manufacturing and selling stuff, and I don't know, the whole thing is one big journey. Like, I really don't have a one thing. Speaking of game issues you probably never encountered, left-handed mouse. Left-handed mouse. Okay. So let me just switch cameras. So I printed this. Is that upside down? That's upside down. Printed this thing, which apparently, well, not apparently, which goes here, and you hold it on with elastic bands, apparently. And then there's a lens that goes, I believe, on that side in there, which sits in front. And I've bought two of them. We're going to give it a go. I'm such an Aussie. Really? I would have thought Dave Jones is more of an Aussie than I am. But so I bought two of the lenses because I figured I'd drop or break one. I don't know if there's a right side or a wrong side. If there's a concave, convex, there is. One is convex, one is concave. Which, I don't know which way it needs to go. I would assume it's got to be... I don't know. I wonder if I can find the original link for it. Here it is. Don't know if it tells you which way to put the thing. I'm not replacing a lens. I'm adding a lens. There is no lens there at the moment. So this is a hack. So this is the Thingiverse. Whatever, go away. That's the 3D print I did. I wonder if it actually says...
Slotterbot first says look a drop bear, astonished face. Classic bands are added for additional security. So it doesn't actually say... Well, I don't want to put it together and pull it apart, put it together, pull it apart, and I don't want to get fingers all over the lens. I'd rather kind of work out which way it's supposed to be first. I could ask Mark, but Mark Osborne isn't quite Mark Olsen, so close. But I'm using a positive meniscus lens. I could ask ChatGPT. Can't really tell from the picture. You'd want it going in, so I reckon it's going to be
Mark
convex.
Olsen says whatever it says, make sure you reverse it for the Aussie factor.
I reckon it goes that way. I reckon it goes that way, but I could be wrong. Is my camera on? I reckon it goes big to small. Big to small, and that goes that way. So big to small. So we're going to go this way. Is it going to stay? It's going to drop. I reckon it goes like that. Oops, goes like that. So big goes to small. I need some elastic bands to hold it in place. It says it fits with friction, but that's way too loose. I don't know how the elastic bands are going to work. They're going to be in the way. One more elastic band. So I'm just grabbing it off. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to hold it in place. Like it's right through the view. But okay, like it's right through the screen. But let's try this. Let's see if we can look at anything close. I can't get that any further back, unfortunately. We'll take a what do we take? There we go. Nano S3. Well, there you go. That's maybe. That's definitely allowed me to get closer. But the image is not, you see they're not lined up. So I need to, that's what this is supposed to solve. Right, so I need to move this so you can see it with the camera as well. Menu, image registration, select. So you see the heat. No, you can't, because hang on, I can turn this off. It's actually in the way. How am I going to show you this? You can see the skylight above me. Maybe I can do it. Okay, you can kind of see there, the image at the bottom is of the board. The one on top is the thermals, and I need to adjust it. Select. So use the arrows to align them, but I can't align them far enough. So maybe it's the wrong way. So I can push them further apart. Oh no, here we go. You're getting closer. The idea is you need the thermal to sit over the picture. I don't think it's going to go far enough though. No. So maybe the lens is the wrong way. Okay, so that's not really working because they don't line up. And the closer you get, the further apart they are. Or maybe the issue is I'm just too close to it still, but the whole point of this lens was supposed to solve that. Okay, let me flip them around and see what happens. I'll flip the lens around. You can do it carefully. Push it out. Okay, so now the other way around.
lost the elastic bands. Yeah, I need a much better solution for holding this in place, let me tell you. Okay. Well, that's definitely bigger, so maybe I had it the wrong way around, but they're still not lined up though. Like, I got to really pull the thing really far apart to have them line up. So this isn't really working. Maybe I need a different lens. So if I do it without, oh, see, that almost looks the same. So how's that lens even doing anything? I'm not convinced the lens is even doing anything. So that's without the lens. Can't really line it up. My hand's in the way. Why is that not fitting in? Oh, elastic band's in the way. Get off. So that's without. And with. See that, did it get bigger? It got bigger, but it didn't get closer. Got maybe a little bit closer, but not close enough. No, she's no fleur, that's for sure. Oh well. It's only $10 for the lenses. Not the end of the world. $10 and 2 weeks waiting for them. It's an LED. What? What did I miss? Making a V1 engineering CNC machine and trying to mount CO2. Okay, sorry. Use silver tape. What? You're talking about, you're saying that this solution here is jank? Quindor? Is that what you're saying? Terrible. LED coherent light cutter. Hey Jay.
Magtachi says, Cian, can I get your opinion on a toaster oven?
Sure. No expert on toaster ovens, but sure. I'm not doing a 4-hour stream today, by the way, folks. We're going to once I've answered Mad Techie's question, we might wind it up. Cold coffee. Google Maxim 9. 9L. Maxim electric toaster oven. Woolworths. 9 litres. Don't know, like 9 litres, 1,000 watts. I mean, 9 litres is small, which is good. Doesn't really tell me anything about it though. How many elements? Upper. It looks like only 1 element top, 1 element bottom. So it really depends what you're reflowing. And using the elements in the second one to boost it. You probably won't have enough power. Like, I don't know, yeah, it depends on how they've done the electronics. But yeah, possibly. It's small, which is good. You'll probably want to insulate. That's a lot of glass at the front. So, and it looks like the glass door goes all the way on the sides. So that that means there's going to be glass to the edge here. You're going to want to insulate the edges of it to prevent heat from escaping through there. But look, yeah, it might be okay. Yeah, it just looks like a single element, top and bottom. I love how the thing bends down in the picture with the fake ham tomato muffins. Anything good finds obsolete. Yeah, that's the best oven I ever got, which is my one sitting here. Yeah, you can't get them. That was great. Give it a shot. I mean, 63 bucks was 71. I don't know if I wouldn't buy 2 of them. I'd start with 1 and see. Are you doing, what temp paste do you want to reflow? And it's $59 from Temple and Webster. $55 for Melbourne Office Supplies. Really? Melbourne Office Supplies. Yeah, you'll probably find that the 2 elements are fine. Unless you're doing really big boards, where you might not have complete evenness. Yeah, I think you'd be fine. I wouldn't buy 2 of them yet. Especially if they're products that you can buy readily. Like if you could only find 1 or 2 in total, maybe. But it seems that you can buy them from all over the place. So I'd just get 1 and try it. I was really lucky with my oven. Mine's it's a 14 litre oven, 1600 watts, 2 elements top and bottom. Like, you just can't get them anymore. I don't know why. No, the Aldi one isn't as good as this one. The Aldi one's much bigger. The other one was okay, but I'm talking about this white one. This is the original one I got. Now, this is my original, look at my desk, original toaster oven that I used even before I designed the Reflow Master. Like, this was what I designed the Reflow Master on. Really good oven, really, really good. It's still what I use for development. But the Aldi ones are okay, you just can't get them ever. That's the problem. They rarely have them available. Okay, well, it was a bit of a false start with KiCad 8 and a bit of a sidetrack with generative AI stuff, but I have a plan for the test jig. As I said, I could always go 4 layers. Absolutely could go 4 layers on the board. I've actually made the board small enough now that maybe, out of curiosity, how big is it? No, right. I could probably. It's under 100 by 100. So, oh no, it's 50 by 50. What's the size for 4 layers? Cheap 4 layers with JLC? I don't remember. I mean, I can make this smaller again. A lot of the stuff here I can re-lay out. I need a different screen. But like, if the screen is moved over a bit, like these front holes, they're for just mounting. They're not specific for the Pi. Like, a lot of the stuff here can just be moved over and back like that. And then I can bring this up more. So I reckon I can well, let's find out. Tip the toaster 90 degrees. What? Yes, holiday is coming. So 4 layer, 100 by 100. Okay, so it is 100 by 100. Or depends. As soon as they change anything, price will go up. So of course we want red. See, red goes from $7 to $44. All my test jigs are red. $28 if I go 1.6. See, this is where they get you. Green and hassle, $7. As soon as you want anything else, ba-bow. Yeah. Still, 28 bucks. So even 2 layers. 2 layers red, $17. Purple's not. Purple is, look. Oh, wait, it was the other day. What happened there? Oh, it must be because of the size. If I go 50-50. Wait, why is that $17? Fire covering. Oh my god, because it makes a change and then it doesn't reset it. Right, let's go back again. So 100, $100, and then purple is also $2, but red and everything else goes up in price. Oh no, red is $2 now. Right, but they're all 2-layer boards. We go 4-layer board, $28. And why has it gone to plugged? So there's no more tinted on a 4-layer board. That's interesting. So have you noticed this? There's no more tinted. Once you go 4-layer, tinted's not there anymore. And that's why the price jumps up. And even a smaller board is going to be the same thing. It's under 100 by 100. See, that's just gone down $5. So there's no way my test jigs are going to be green. It's not happening. But that's not terrible. So maybe I'll just go 4 layers. But that's hassle. But hassle's fine for my test jigs. I don't care. Right, it's easy when it's someone else's money you're spending. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Cool. Okay, that's not too bad. Might just go 4 layers. Save myself a lot of hassle. Hassle. Get it? Sorry. Okay, folks, I'm going to go. I will keep working on this, and I'll post in Discord my progress. I'm assuming that this is going to be stable, though. Like, I still have to print this out, 3D print out a thing, and kind of stick it on a pie, see how I'm going to mount as a sandwich, just to really make sure that it is going to be stable. Last thing I want to do is commit to this design and then go to use it and find out that using the clamp makes the thing rock or flex, right? That's the one thing that my current one doesn't do, is when I'm using that clamp, because of the position of it, there's no flex on the board at all. There's no flex on the headers of the pie, which is really important because I'm, whacking boards in and out constantly. So that was the issue I had with the original one, was the flex. So I need to make sure that that's not going to happen. And I know I could go a thicker PCB, but yeah. Anyway, I'll keep working on it. I'll share where I get to. What? We're talking about basements. Really? How are we in basements? Okay, folks, thanks for joining. Thanks for sticking around. If you are, I know some of you aren't, but if you are interested in me doing a live stream about hacking away on a large language model, something or whatever, let me know. It's really left field for my channel. I know that, and I'm zero expert, but if it's something that interests anyone, let me know. Maybe I'll even do it on my alternate channel, which I haven't posted on for a long time. So yeah, just let me know in Discord if you're interested at all in that. Otherwise, and here comes some Australia cuss words. Yeah, I don't think you can swear in them, can you? There are ones that you can get though that are not censored. Most of them are censored, but there are a couple that are uncensored, and they'll talk about all sorts of things. But I don't think I want to use one of those anyway. Thanks, Tradie Trev. I'm not the person to ask about EMC and RFI testing. Keen is. We should get Keen to do a live stream. Maybe next time he's in Melbourne, I'll organise a time. We can do a live stream and we can talk about RFI. Or Iggy. Next time Iggy's around. When you're in Melbourne next, Iggy. Well, it doesn't have to be in Melbourne. We could do it remotely. What do you reckon, Iggy? If you're still around, listening, we get a live stream. We can talk about all the fails on my boards. Yeah. I might have a chat with him offline. Anyway, thanks all. I'll catch you later. Have a good week. See you all next week. Bye.